Hey, Latoya, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah,
We're all
we're all
good.
good. We're all good.
Welcome to the Only Good Vibe Show. Thanks for taking time to have a chat with us.
Of course, of course.
How you,
Excited.
how you guys getting on out there? You doing okay?
Yeah, everything's good,
Where,
Good
where are you based right now? Are you in Florida? Am I right in saying that?
I'm in the Caribbean
In the
right now.
Caribbean?
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Okay. I'm very, very
Very
jealous right now.
Oh, it's hot. It's hot. So, I guess that's a good thing. I prefer that to, colder weather.
You wouldn't like Scotland then?
No, definitely not.
Am I right in saying, Latoya, is your family Scottish based? There was someone from Scotland in your family?
Oh, okay. So you've been hearing the stories. It's not any close connection or anything, but at a point I got into genealogy and family research.
Yeah.
And my family is Magruder family. Yeah, from Perth. I think that Perth is that.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, Perth. Yeah, it's up north.
Yeah, Alexander Magruder. That's like my seventh, eighth millionth great grandfather or something like that.
That's a very,
Years
very
ago, our
Scottish name.
family. Yeah, the black side of the family and the white side of the family hooked up, and we found out who was dabbling in stuff they shouldn't have back in the day.
Oh, right.
Rainbow family.
We need to go and trace your family back then, Latoya, because that's not too far from me and John, Perth. That's not too far away.
Oh, really? I want to visit so bad. I actually have some cousins there that, we can name them. We know where they are. There's, one of these days I'm going to get there. I can't wait. And yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Have you done that, John? Have you ever done your family tree? I'd love to do the family tree. I need to do
I
it.
don't think I have. No, I've seen the family tartan, but I don't know the whole family tree, the family history and all that.
Latoya, I did not know that John had a family tartan. I need to see John in a kilt in this family tartan.
A wonderful sight.
Well, actually, I'd probably be pretty interested in seeing that. If you're going to learn, are you going to be playing the pipes and everything?
Yeah. No, definitely not.
Carry knees and all that.
I'll just sing to you. I'll sing to you.
John, don't sing.
Hey, like I said, you never know.
Latoya, I'm looking out the window right now, and you might not want to come to Scotland. Maybe give it another couple of weeks because it is wet. It still feels like winter. It still feels like January.
Is it wet over you, mate? I've got a little bit of sunshine over here. I'm stealing all
actually,
the sunshine, Paul.
Yeah, it's very wet where I am in Scotland.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
How is it in the Caribbean? I'm guessing it's very warm over there right now.
Yeah. I had the fan on, but I'm like, I don't want them hearing woo, 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 woo in the background, while we're trying to chat. So we had to kind of do what we can. I have my...
Oh, wow. It must be hot.
That's
it
very
must be
glamorous.
hot.
Yeah.
Well, actually, people who know me, they know this is like my signature. I have one in every color for every outfit, always have. My fan, that's my thing. I'm not trying to be cute. I'm trying to stay cool.
Stay cool while staying cool.
Look cool, staying cool. That's the goal,
Have you guys got a studio over there, Latoya? Have you got a studio where you guys are? Because I know you and Rich have been working in a lot of music recently, have you?
Yeah, actually, I work with the Spire Studio right now because I haven't sent over my studio equipment, like the full shebang yet. So I found an alternative that I'm very happy with.
Yeah.
And it's actually an all-in-one studio. And that's what you've been hearing. Everything that's come out this year has been on that Spire Studio. I love it.
Brilliant.
A great piece of technology.
Yeah. It's making things much more easable and accessible to record and create music, isn't it?
I might not go back. I actually can say that. I might just stick with this because it's been amazing for me, and I would not have been able to do what I've done thus far without that.
So what's that called again, did you say?
It's by Isotope. It's the Spire Studio.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've not dabbled with that one.
Yeah, I'm their biggest fan.
John should get it because he has the voice of an angel.
Really now? Okay. This is the second time it's come up. So now I'm going to need you to like get on the track and let's hear what you can do. You know what I mean? So is your voice more like Lou Rawls or John Bon Jovi? Which is...
I think Isotope's really going to need to work its magic on this one.
extra auto-tune. He sounds like something between a cat getting strangled and a bagpipe getting drowned.
That's probably been quite generous, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, that could be fascinating. I think the only one that might be able to work with that and make it into something that's hot is Timbaland. But you know,
even at that,
Timbaland can make anything hot, like literally anything.
Yeah, he can it could be the garbage disposal, and it's like, oh yeah.
I love how he makes all the sounds like just with like his mouth and stuff. Like before he actually goes in and uses any synthesizers, he's already got that sound in his head before he even starts making it.
Exactly. It's a gift. It's a gift, definitely. Sorry, if my eyelash falls off. Just keep talking.
That's a great thing about Zoom. You can use it as a mirror as well if you have to, just to see what's going on.
Right. You think I'm looking at you, but I'm really up there like, oh my gosh.
And how long have you been in the Caribbean for?
We've been here much of the pandemic. Most of the pandemic is just less stressful. I can get more done. I like a peaceful environment when I'm trying to get some work done.
Awesome.
So, you know, we like it.
What's the place called, Latoya? What place is it in the Caribbean?
In the Dominican Republic.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. I'm so jealous. So jealous. I go and see the sunshine.
More and more jealous every time you're telling us things.
Well, you know, everything's got its good and it's bad. It's just for what we're doing is more good here for me. You know, we went through a curfew. I'm not even sure if we're still in the curfew, but it didn't matter to me because I'm not, you know, out there partying until 3 a.m. You know, those days are, you know, a memory.
You're just singing till 3 a.m. there?
Yeah.
If it calls for it. And actually in November, I was singing till 3, 4 a.m, but it was like a small private yacht show. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos. So for singing, it's different, but being out there dancing and just going crazy, I can't hang. I'm like, I wish, you know, I think there's some Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reruns on. It's 10 o'clock. I might need to get to bed.
Yeah, that sounds good.
They never get old. Never get old, the old Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found myself watching a lot more nature programs. I sat yesterday and it's something called Spring Watch, and it's just like rabbits in the field, just playing in the field. And I thought, I'll happily sit and watch these rabbits for about half an hour on the television. You know, I must be getting old, Latoya. I must be getting old.
No, you know what I think it is? It might be a little deeper than that, because there was a point where like my sleep was just all over the place. When you don't have someone giving you a schedule, sometimes like 9 to 5 or whatever, sometimes you stay up late. Sometimes you wake up early and it's just all over the place. So when I needed to regulate it for some of the music projects I was doing, the only thing that will put me to sleep are those like the aquarium, the Animal Channel shows where the guys look at the sheep laying in the coral. And then it has this all of this, I mean, I would just be out. But then unfortunately, if it's like a marathon or something, like the next episode would be cheetahs and like the jungle, and then you hear and all of this, and then I'm jumping up. And, it's a mess. It's a circus in here.
That was a great impression of a cheetah, I must say.
Yeah, we go from like peaceful fish in an aquarium to like animals eating each other or something. Yeah. You know, that's
not good for the sleeping habits, I don't think.
Vivid dreams, man. Yeah.
How's things been over there with like coronavirus and all that as well? Are you guys kind of starting to come out of lockdown as well?
It's actually, because we're out in a little more remote country kind of part. Like I said, I like my peaceful times, and it, in comparison to, you know, major cities around the world, it's almost been nothing, man. I mean, there's been cases, of course, but you know, they are very, very low.
Yeah,
it's
that's great.
And the fatalities, it's almost nothing. So, like I said, I'm blessed to be able to be where I am.
Yeah,
and it's working. You know.
So if me and John jump on a plane right now, can we come and join you? We'll do a COVID test and we'll see you in the morning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, come on down for sure.
Sleep on the beach. Sleep on the beach, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not the same amount of rules here as in some places. So, you know, I'm not saying it's like the Wild West or anything, but you know, less pressure in those regards.
I haven't seen John's face I've seen it a couple of weeks ago, but before that was like a year ago, I think, wasn't it? It's all Zoom chats now.
Oh, we see each other pretty much every night on Zoom, but yeah, in the flesh, it was almost a year.
Yeah.
So is there like a lockdown, or you guys are just sick of each other?
A little bit of both. Definitely a bit of both. I didn't want to say it, but thanks for bringing it up, LaToya. This out now.
I just wanted to ask because you never know what your answer is going to be.
No, it's just lockdown has been so fierce over here. It's just been like relentless. It's only just
like 3 separate lockdowns, and each one was like progressively longer as well. So the last one went for like 4 or 5 months or something. Yeah, so it's just starting to ease off.
Not out of the house other than working at home, but other than that, it's been a great year. All in all.
Well, it's good to see you still so smiley, the good vibes, all of that, having to deal with that. It's a state of mind. You got to put yourself in that place to get through. And,
a lot of these chats, a lot of these interviews just came off the back of that because we didn't have this show before it. So the positive has kind of outweighed the negative. Definitely. There's been a lot of positivity from it.
Yeah. And I definitely, I wonder, when I hear people that have not found one positive thing out of this whole pandemic.
Yeah.
I found so many. I've actually been able to get back into being a recording artist because of this.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you wouldn't be bobbing your head to Mother Funk and everything else had this not happened. You got to make the best of things, and it gives us all time to reassess.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big part. Everyone's taken a step back and reassessed, and it's amazing the guests we've had on who have sang or done something before, and this year's just inspired them to go back into it more than anything.
Yeah.
I've saved a lot. I've saved a lot of money on alcohol, I must say, as well. Because
you started
there's a lot of people that can say
making your own alcohol, though.
Yeah, I actually started making my own alcohol, LaToya. I actually started making it. I got to that point. I was like, I might as well pass the time. I've got the time. So make some up.
Well, we all need hobbies. I'm sure Jim Beam was doing that sometimes. Like, I just started making alcohol. Now look.
Yeah, got to start somewhere. I might start promoting it on the show, actually. No, it's just. I think
just going back to the beginning slightly. How did you get into music, LaToya? Where did it all kind of start for you?
Well, not to sound cliche, and I can't prove it, but when I was 18 months old, actually, my mother said it's the first time I actually sang out by myself. She used to always sing, "Yes, Jesus loves me." Yes, Jesus loves me. Yeah. When she would give me a bath. And she said one day she was drying me off and I just started singing. Word to word.
Months? That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what she said. But I hear a lot of stories where people are like, I was 18 months old. But my grandmother, who tells it like it is, she was like, yeah, because your mother called me. She said, Mom, the baby's singing. She's like, no. And she heard me do it again. I was like, oh, you didn't get the first set? Here's another. We got 2 shows tonight. And she said she almost dropped me on the floor. So, it was in a different way. So good thing it turned out.
Applause, that's what it was.
Yeah. So, fast forward, my dad was a DJ since like 1960 or something like that. And I just always grew up with it. My brother was a DJ. Everybody had some sort of musical thing that they did. I come from a singing family, and we were in church. I'm not sure if you're aware, but in Black church, you're just there. It's not like 1 hour, praise the Lord. It's like, this is a day-long event.
Oh, wow.
And then there's revivals, and then there's like, you live at church, Yeah. It wasn't quite that extreme with us, but we spent a good amount of time there. And as long as I can remember, I was on the choir. Mm-hmm. So between that and being in a neighborhood full of just singing people, growing up just around some artists that are out there today, grew up right where I did. And it's just singing was just what you did.
Yep.
And I kind of took it a little further, I guess. Sometimes my friends would be out, playing hula hoops and video games, this, that, and the other. And I'm in there going through my dad's old Ohio Players records and, stuff like that. And it's just always been a huge part of me. And it's just no matter what was going on, it's just always been like my refuge.
Yeah, it's incredible how the influence that gospel's had on so many of our guests on the shows. The power of gospel, it just seems to set people on the right path for music. It really does.
Well, it's, there's various places you get it from, but the two that are almost guaranteed is music class in school, where you get a little bit more of the theory, this, that, and the other. But then when you go to church, it could be a choir of 35 people singing at one time. Yep. And that choir director was like, wait a minute, who is that? And they will call you out. Like, it's not like they will call you out and shame you before the Lord. And it's like, you were flat, go sit down. Or you showed up like, they're like real taskmasters. Wow. And I grew up with one as well. My mother wasn't the choir director, but if I'm just singing like a TLC song in the house that, something that came out, nope, that's flat, sing it again.
Wow.
And I'm like, but now I'm like,
Now John knows why I pull him up, because I just want the best for him, Latoya. I want to make him the best singer he can possibly be. That's all it is.
Well, you need to go to church. You need to go to a Baptist church.
That's my major downfall. I don't remember the last time I went to church.
Don't wear your kilt. Please.
To be fair, the Scottish churches aren't quite as exciting by the sounds of it, to be fair.
Hey, well, you can make it that way. It takes getting used to. So, but yeah, that's basically, I'm not sure about your other guests, but it's kind of like your first musical training is almost to a point where like excellence is required or abandoned. They're not going to boo you or anything if you mess up. But when you are from the womb hearing these harmonies and they're pretty complex, all the instruments and everything else, it kind of just grows into something that's part of you, and it's your lifestyle as far as music,
It sounds like that whole community is kind of raising each other to a higher standard type thing. You're really keeping that standard really high throughout the music.
Yes.
Who would you say were the next influences then, Latoya, apart from the gospel sound and stuff? Would you say there's the go-to albums and artists when you were younger that really inspired you to take the next step?
Okay. I was doing Whitney at 5.
Right.
Okay.
And I just was blown away by her voice, because I always had this big voice. Like, I was told by various people when I was born, not to backtrack too much, but when I was born, they could hear my voice over all the babies in the nursery, because they were all like, wah, wah. I was like, wah. Okay. Y'all hear me? And, and
awful baby.
When I was young, my parents got me this little Cabbage Patch Kids record player. And then since my dad was a DJ, he always had whatever music was coming out. So actually, my first one was Anita Baker. Second was Madonna. The third was Whitney. And I played all of them, but Whitney just got me, because I'm like, wait a minute, she got that kind of voice like me.
Yeah.
Not saying, as a 5-year-old, I just identified with it for some reason, and it just caught me. And I would play those songs and sing them over and over and over until I got every note. I'm a little kid now. Yeah. I don't know what the heck she was talking about, but hey, I was singing it.
I'll sing it better than her.
Yeah, so those were the initial like preschool baby years. But then once I started getting a little older, I really started getting into Karen White and it's just like that whole New Jack Swing, Teddy Riley type, and like Soul to Soul, like all those kind of groups were the ones that really got me. But then on the other hand, because I have very eclectic music taste, as many, artists do. Yep. I would listen to more pop stuff too. It's rock, whatever. For me, it wasn't necessarily the genre. It was more about the structure of the song. Yeah. Because it was something that would get me. Like, everybody knows I'm obsessed with half steps.
Yep.
Okay.
In music.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't matter if it was Def Leppard or if it was John Coltrane. Yeah. If it had chord progressions that just got my ear, I love the song. And, I'm just trying to think through the years, Mint Condition, Janet Jackson, and all for different reasons.
Yeah.
And I probably knew the whole Marvin Gaye I Want You album, every note of every instrument and every harmony and ad lib by the time I was 13.
Wow. You're destined.
That song,
Destined for stardom, I think.
And I'm just sitting here like, oh my gosh, the stuff that he was singing about, I'm singing along with it. I listen to it now and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised I didn't get my mouth washed out with a Brillo pad. It took me till I was like 20 something. That's what he meant. Oh God, no.
Turn off.
Yeah, like even now when I'm singing, like if I do I Want You or something like that, I have these flashbacks like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more it's a thing where I kind of, and it's so hard to explain.
Yeah.
Some people, when they hear a song, they hear the entire song.
Yep.
It's something in my brain where I hear everything separately, but still together.
Right.
I don't know. It's like I can pick out the piano, and I don't play any instruments.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, my piano is very, very basic. Like I can twinkle, twinkle, little stars, but I probably mess up like 3 times.
So is that like you're analysing the music almost, that you're picking out bits and you're tuning into like certain bits to sing along to?
Yeah, I type like that too. But it's like, I figure it out though. I figure it out. Yeah. But it's just something where I can hear the different things going on separately, even though they're all at the same time. It's just weird. I'm weird like that.
Yeah.
And I guess that would kind of be as weird as somebody saying like, I see the color blue, but the color purple, but I can see the red and blue that make it up. You're like, okay, you weirdo, but okay, I'll take that.
No, that's great. So, I think that's a talent you've got to be born with, I think, isn't it? It's built into you.
I'm not specifically sure I can answer easily.
Yeah, I think it's just that's a real talent to actually have that ability to zone in. We've spoke to a few vocalists who they say that they hear the melody and they hear where the song's going before it's even been played to them. They're kind of already away and taking it somewhere else. You know?
Yes. I would say yes, as long as you have a basis of, and I don't mean a formal basis, but if you have like a basis of where those chords are going,
yep.
Like if you're trying to find what key the song is in, you just hum on one note, and if that note works for the whole, section of the song, that's the key it's in, and you just kind of play off of that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's probably a very basic way to explain it, but that's basically what I do. So if I hear it's just a random jazz band playing somewhere and I hear like a couple notes of what it is, I can just kind of jump in and make it happen.
And what was your first break into the music industry?
I actually on my 13th birthday, 13, 14. How old am I? Women? Yeah, 13. I had a choice of having a happy birthday sing with my parents or going to the studio for the first time. Guess what I chose?
Yeah.
I did not.
Easy guess.
And yeah, I was like, I'm going. Because I'm like, I finally get to do this thing that I've been listening to people do for so long.
Yeah.
And I was basically the person singing hooks on the rappers' songs.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's how I got started. Like the local rappers, just singing hooks, writing them and singing them, writing them and singing. It was very rare that they had an idea, melody, or whatever. And I'm a kid, but I loved it. And apparently they did too. They kept calling me. Mm-hmm. So that was basically the first exposure to the professional industry.
Yeah.
That must have been a lot of fun as well.
It wasn't what I thought it was. I think I cried in my first session because they kept telling me, "No, do it again. No, do it again." I'm like, "That's called vocal production." I didn't know what that was. You just wanted me to come in and sing. Like, what is all this like rules and stuff?
Yeah.
So I learned. I was pretty sensitive because I didn't know what I was getting into. But now that I look at it, I'm grateful for it because you can hear nowadays when there's some people who come in and they're not being vocally produced. They're just coming and singing, and that's only half of it.
Yeah, getting the best from the vocalist, I think. Then, yeah,
you can't just come in and say, "Oh, this melody sounds good. Let me just sing it." You need to know how to stack the harmonies. You need to know when to pull back. You need to know when to get more. You need to know when you know, I'm not saying music. I think if more vocals were produced, especially like those 90s vocals, oh my gosh, those harmonies, Jodeci, oh my goodness, it's crazy. if more vocals were produced, then you wouldn't need so much auto-tune.
Right, fair enough. Do you work with a lot of live musicians as well, Latoya? Do you work with a lot of like ideas bouncing back and forward off live, or how do you write a song or go about the process of writing music?
Well, I haven't been able to, like I said, because I'm just getting back into this and the recording, because I was writing for other people for a while, but now I'm just getting back into doing my thing. So I haven't really had a lot going on with live musicians. I know some, but I haven't really worked with a lot recently, and that is mainly because of the pandemic. But you know, BeatStars is great. Big up to BeatStars. And So For Real Productions. You know, you can find some really good stuff online. You just have to dig. The first thing that you hear, and it's like, hey, that's hot. That may not be the hottest. So you got to keep looking. I'll spend an hour, 2 hours looking for the perfect beat. And you just have to. If you're dealing with beats that are more loop-like, you need to make your voice the live instrument.
Okay.
It's got to be a balance. You can't have everything sounding mechanical.
John, I hope you're taking notes here.
On here. No one here.
Right, okay, we're going to get into 102 now. That was 101.
No, don't get my notebook. Hold on.
You mean it's not beside you? Come on. You're slacking here, John. Oh, it is. Look, he's got the notebook out.
Oh, no, really? Okay, I got to see this.
No, he's probably got other things written in that. We don't even want to see what's in that, to be honest.
All sorts of plans in there. All sorts of plans.
No, we're loving Mother Funk, though. That is brilliant. That is
That's a great track.
That is unreal.
Thank you.
The latest one, then, that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks like you've been putting out quite a lot of music over the last year throughout the pandemic. So have you been keeping yourself busy on in the studio like throughout this time?
I've been keeping myself busy, but it's easier when you're using a device that's big. You don't have to worry about boards, amps, cords, this, that, and the other. It's you, your iPad, and that. So it's just basically turn it on and go, and you get a great quality. I mean, that's honestly why I've been able to do so much. And also having people around me where we may be in the middle of dinner and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll be right back. They know what that means. They know what that means. So it's like, if I need to record right then,
you can.
It's happening, and it's, you know, they're rushing around like I'm going into labor or something. Like, all right, get her home, get her to the, you know.
She's off again. Just let her do her thing. Let her do her thing.
Sometimes you get that flash of inspiration. You just need to capture it straight away, don't you? Like, otherwise it will go.
You mean as far as like the process of like when I get a song idea? Like how
if you get that moment of inspiration, sometimes you need to like try and capture it before you forget what it was.
I use my voice recorder on my phone. But a lot of times I don't even play them back. I don't even know why, but I try. It's basically, I would say 50% of my songs are pre-written.
Oh, okay.
50%. So maybe if I have the lyrics for the verses and the chorus down, usually I come up with the background harmonies at the end. And then I'm just feeling the music. Like a lot of people ask, why do you record your background vocals first? Not just because I was trained that way by some very accomplished music industry people,
right?
But because I feel like my background is almost like the church. So when that lead singer is out there doing their lead, and then the choir is like, ah, like doing their stuff in the background, they get even more pumped. Now the whole thing is just on their feet. So I'm my own hype squad. When I do my background, vocals, I get those harmonies in there. I'm listening for the instruments. And once I have that tight, that lead and ad libs just kind of float out. Like you have no idea how much of Mother Funk is improv.
That's brilliant advice. Great advice, because I think people would always go backwards and try it from the other direction, I think, really, wouldn't they? But John, are you taking notes of this? John, quick, get that written down. No, that's great advice. It doesn't really make sense to start like that, but it's impressive to hear that is the way a good approach to writing music, writing lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say like I have a very, very focused idea of what I'm trying to say in the song, what I'm trying to convey.
Yeah.
I don't usually do a million takes
Yep.
on my songs because I think that removes some of the feeling from it.
Yeah.
There's mistakes in there. Other people might not hear them, but I hear them. But I leave them in deliberately because I'm a singer, not a robot.
Yeah.
I'm not a robot. And I can point out some songs by some very, very famous people, some very well-known songs where you hear the microphone clip, where you hear that the pop filter didn't quite filter out that hard S or P sound, or where this one went, off key a little bit or whatever. And I'm just saying, my songs are for the people who enjoy them.
Yeah, that's real. Keep it kind of real, I guess, isn't it? Because you can overproduce it, I think, and lose the magic a little bit, can't you?
Yes, and we're all kind of in decibel hell right now with how loud stuff's being recorded. But
yeah, it's like a war.
It's like we're not going to sit there and like sing it till you get it right. We're just going to hit a button. I don't have copy and paste on the Spire. So every time you hear something repeat, I sang it live all over again.
That's brilliant.
If you hear anything fading or an effect, I'm using my dynamics. I'm leaning back. I'm putting a towel over my head. Yeah. I'm going like this until I get that sound, like literally. If you would see me recording, you'd be like, okay, that's
an absolute lesson in vocal recording right here.
You make the sound that you want. When you have to know what you want it to sound like, or you need someone vocally producing you that knows what it should sound like. Those are your only options. Anything else, I feel like you're just playing around and you're not producing a song, you're producing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very true. Have you got some advice for aspiring vocalists and that in LaToya? Maybe people that are trying to get started, because you seem like you're full of wisdom. We need to keep this going, I think, don't we? Have you got advice for maybe people that are trying to start to get into singing and where they should possibly start writing lyrics, writing vocals?
Well, as far as the singing, this may sound harsh and in your face, but know your abilities. If you can't sing that whistle note that Mariah does, don't struggle with it. Figure out where your voice is comfortable. Right. Not all the time, but a lot of times your speaking voice is very similar to your comfortable tone that you should be singing in. Like, to me, singers and vocalists are two different things. Yeah. Anybody can sing.
Oof, you'd be surprised at me and John.
But a vocalist, that's something else. There's work. Like you gotta work it out. You can't say, I can sing in 4 days.
Yep.
And there's warm-ups, there are cool downs. I don't think it's as complicated as some people like to make it right now that are giving some vocalizing courses. Like I've hand to the Lord, I have not had any vocal injuries. I've not had anything like that. I guess maybe I was born with the instinct of when to stop or when to, to like, okay, this is too much, or I can't hit that. You've got to be good to yourself. I don't, if I know that I have to perform, I do not eat before performing. I cut it off, no matter how. You probably hear my stomach growling on the microphone, but for me, I do not eat. So when I'm off the stage, I'm like, can y'all please have a bacon quadruple cheeseburger waiting with extra fries? I don't drink any soda. I don't do anything.
I could go that right now, actually. That sounds fantastic.
John, you could never be a singer. John would be screwed, actually, because John eats like a horse.
And there's been no alcohol. But like I said, all of these things are waiting for me. They need to have, when that last song, I'm doing that last song, they got to be cooking and pouring my rum and coke and everything else. But I have learned, just like you have to know your body, like, oh, I feel like I'm getting a cold, I should do this, that, or the other. It's the same with your voice. Mm-hmm. I know that those things, I'm not going to do my best.
Yep. All right.
So I just cut them off and try to distract myself with other things because it's tempting. I'm like, oh, a cup of orange juice would be great, but I know what it's going to be.
How does the food affect it so bad then? Eating food, do you think?
It could be one or two things. It could be because I eat too much all the time. I love food.
Yeah.
And I get too full.
I just want to sit down, sleep.
And I can't, like, I feel like I can't take a really deep breath in. I eat so much.
Right. Yeah,
You
yeah.
mentioned the orange juice there as well, so you wouldn't even have like a drink of orange juice before it either. Would that affect your vocal performance as well?
Acidity. For me, the acidity is like astringent to my throat.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And I'll drink water, I'll drink some tea because it depends. Some of it's really acidic. So anything basically acidic or anything that might possibly burn going down, I just stay away from it.
Okay.
You know?
Wow.
No whiskey.
And
No whiskey. No whiskey at the best of times.
but afterwards, I'm like, fill her up.
Yeah. Party time.
Yeah, the other part of it is singing is very athletic. I guess that's a word you could use, or physically involved.
Yeah, definitely.
And when I eat a lot, I get tired. I'm sorry. It's that turkey at Thanksgiving situation, you know, and then I'm just like, oh man, I don't feel like singing that. So you know how much energy it takes to sing Whitney, Mariah songs, jump around, because I'm pretty, you know, into it when I'm on stage singing. I'm not just standing there like, no, I am into it. I need energy. And if I just ate like 3 sandwiches, you may not be able to get the same energy.
Getting wheeled out in a chair. A comfortable seat. I know that feeling. I've never thought of it like that, but it's very true actually.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that either. The amount of energy that you must burn when you're up there as well, you know, just to give those vocal performances and to put all that passion into it. Yeah,
because I mean, maybe if the people are there to be entertained. Mm-hmm. I'm not usually entertained by something standing still. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And then you have to be on. You know, you have to be on because these people have taken their time, money, their focus to see what you're doing. So give them something to look at and something to remember. Mm. And as far as the lyrics, what I would recommend is the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Right. Not every song has to be this big, deep diary. Yeah. It just doesn't. We are going to, as a real songwriter will have those moments, but sometimes it's just too damn much. It's like, I listen to some things nowadays. I'm like, why are these kids so angry? Why are they so sad? Like, did they need to bring back Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt and all those games we used to have? And I know life's hard. Yeah, I know life's hard. I'm not saying that I'm not sympathetic to that. Yeah. But sometimes that one dumbass song, and I don't mean dumbass in an insulting way, just dumb, like you don't have to think too much. Yeah. It's what you need. And like I was saying to my kids one time, like one of them was like in a bad mood or whatever like this. I'm like, I can't get out of this mood. And I was like, you know what? Turn on this song called The Whisper Song by the Yin Yang Twins. Yeah. And they were like, if you think of that song, you will instantly feel good. Even if you're like, wait, you see, it's like bang, bang, bang. And the beat, you cannot be upset when you hear that song. You know, it's just like, it's if you just put that in your mind like a mantra, it's like you just automatically get out of a bad mood. So yeah, basically it's just when you're starting to write, try not to be repetitive in what you say. Not everything has to rhyme. Yep. There's certain words that aren't singable in my opinion, like orthopedic. Like, where do you fit that into a song? Like, if you can, I want to hear what you did with it.
John could do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, okay. So John, this song that you come out with, this is gonna be a banger. Can I please like sing back up on it? Like
after this input, John, you better be singing like an angel today.
The orthopedic angel.
I'm gonna make a song called Orthopedic Tartan.
We're going to need a good scotch for that.
Sung by the orthopedic angel.
It's like some shoe inserts or something. Yeah, but
brilliant advice. Just keeping it simple. I think you want the listeners to take something. Every listener to take something different from it. I guess if you give it to them in a plate, then they're not really taking their own perspective of the lyrics. Then Yeah,
I mean, you can have a theme of what you want to say, but I feel like sometimes people try to put too much into it. Yeah. So if I'm singing because my heart's broken, I feel like that song has no room to talk about world world issues and money issues and what I had for dinner yesterday. It's like, pick a topic, pick a theme.
Yep.
Lionel Richie, from what I've heard, he's the one who came up with the word hook. You can't necessarily hook people if you don't have that one thing that they can stick to.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that when I'm writing lyrics, that's where I begin, is with that hook. Like with Mother Funk, honestly, someone asked me, where'd you come up with that? I'm like, well, first of all, there's about 1 million different pieces in the recipe for that song.
Right.
And you can probably hear it. That's why that song, you start on 100 and you end on 150 with that song. It is constantly just, it actually feels like it's longer than it actually is.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on with the music and the singing.
Yep.
But I actually was walking into the bathroom and I stubbed my toe on the side of a chair that was near the doorway. Yeah. And I was trying to stop cussing so much because I have a filthy mouth. I think I'm doing a good job in this interview. And I was like, mother funk. And then we had just been on the beat. And then I was like, I'm gonna hit that mother funk. I was just playing around with it. Then we turned the beat on, and then I always was like, with the disco bag part, I won't say too much about it. I'm actually gonna ask you something about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just came to me. But the actual term mother funk, that came from me stubbing my toe.
That is genius.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I wanted to say mother, but I was like, oh, mother, and then we just put it all
I'm
together.
never going to listen to that song the same way again now.
I just picture Latoya hopping about the living room.
Did I ruin it? He's like, never meet the hero.
No, it's even better. It's even better. I'll enjoy it even more.
So that whole mother funk thing with the disco bag and all of that.
Yeah.
I always ask, I want to ask each of you individually.
Yeah.
What do you think the disco bag is, and what do you think in it?
I've been thinking about that for a long time. I know what makes disco. I've actually reading a book right now about the history right back to, God, it's going back to like bits of France, like around the wartime, and so people dig right back to what inspired disco and the roots of disco. And it's just a combination of more the lifestyle than it is the music, I think, isn't it? Back then, I think it was more just an expression of kind of freedom, I think, that with a combination.
As far as the disco bag, like I'm talking about in the song, like what is the disco bag?
So what is the disco bag? So the disco bag, so that would be
the flavour of the. Sorry. If we meant the disco
talking about a physical bag, or is this like a kind of metaphorical thing?
I'm not going to answer you. I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. I'm just the responses that I get from those two questions are going to keep that song going.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a disco bag actually is, what I'm referring to, and what might be in that disco bag. Now that's what's really fun. What people think
like I said, I picture like kind of a proper colourful suit, some platforms, some proper like kind of New York 70s style, some cool gear, you know what I mean? Pair of shades.
Like a shades.
Pimp's hat.
Maybe some glitter. Maybe some glitter in there as well. Hairspray.
I love glitter. Glitter is everything. Glitter, rhinestones, and shine.
How big's this bag, Latoya? How big is the bag?
Is it big enough for a kilt?
Well, I'm sure, depending on what the disco bag is, you can make anything happen with a kilt. That's what somebody told me. I don't know what that means, but
That's for another show, I think.
Yeah, just make sure the wind doesn't blow. So basically,
if you're back in the 1970s disco, you might want that kilt to blow.
Yeah, that's very Studio 54. I think I heard that someone said, I'm not really sure who exactly, they said, put that in your disco bag and smoke it. I don't know. Like, it's what is that? I don't know. Is it like smoking? Like, I don't know. It could be
It sounds about right. Sounds about right, isn't it? If it came for the disco era, that sounds about right.
Could be, might not be. I have heard at least now a dozen different things about what an actual disco bag is and what might be in the disco bag. Because I deliberately wrote the song so that you can use your imagination. And like I tell people, and I hope this doesn't get me in trouble one day, but my song means what the listener understands it to be.
Yeah.
These are your songs.
Yeah, that's
So
ideal.
if you think a disco bag is one thing, that's what it is.
Yeah.
If the person next to you thinks it's another thing, that's what it is.
Maybe
One
it's
man's,
like
one man's disco bag.
Might bring in your party spirit with you type thing, like so your life and soul with you in the disco bag. Could that be a thing? With some glitter and a kilt.
I know. One man's disco
and a bacon burger.
One man's disco bag is another man's kilt in a disco bag. I bet you didn't.
I've heard it's a handbag, a designer handbag. I've heard that it's a record sleeve. I've heard that it's a bag of something that might get you arrested. I've heard that
that's what I was actually thinking at the start, but I didn't want to say.
Hey, if that's what you think it is, I know what I'm talking about.
Sure,
but I want people to use their imagination. And when they're playing that song on the radio or in the club or whatever, that whole part where you're chanting, I want everybody, what's that in your bag? Ask the person next to you. Look in their bag, see what it is. I can't wait to perform that song because I'm going to have some bags on stage and we're going to have people look in them and they're not going to be able to tell what they see.
Brilliant. Every time me and John turn up to a gig, when me and John turn up to a gig, the bag will be called the disco bag from now on. The disco bag. We have arrived with the disco bag. The party has started.
For us, it's going to be headphones, USB sticks, and a recorder.
Hey, and when I come in the room, they're like, "Oh, Mother Funk has arrived with the disco bag." Maybe that'll be my band, the disco bag. Yeah, Mother Funk in the disco bag. Forget LaMay.
That's a great name. That is a great name.
That's a band name. That is a band name.
That's
right
a keeper. Keep that. You've heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first. So, you hear Mother Funk in a disco bag just came out with this wild ass album. That's me.
What do you think's in the disco bag, Latoya? What do you think would be in the disco bag if it was down to you?
See, that's the thing. The disco bag, that's going to be a secret that I'm just going to take with me.
A bit of mystery. Yeah. A little bit of mystery.
Yeah, I let people use their imagination.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to ask people this question. There's no doubt.
Well, can you record it? We're going to put it online. It's going to be a survey. We're going to survey the people all around the world. Like, what's that in your bag?
Instagram poll.
That is Instagram written all over it.
What is in the disco bag?
What's in your disco bag?
That's it.
We used to do a thing, Latoya. It was at the start of the show. We used to do it when we first started. It was called Disco Dash, and we actually guests had to run around and find items around their house. I'm kind of wondering if you'd bring that back, actually.
And we used to have to bring back a quirky item as well, so something that had like a really quirky story behind it as well, and they would tell us a story behind the item that they brought back. So we had all sorts of strange things, actually.
I love that. Oh my gosh, please do it again. I love that kind of stuff. Love it.
Latoya, if we knew you were so fun, we'd have brought it back for this show especially. Some people you'd have asked to do it and they'd have been like, nah, I'm not getting up. I'll just sit here, I think.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Could you imagine? Like, the editing.
Yeah. We'll bring it back, don't worry. But Latoya, what are you feeling at the minute, music-wise and stuff then? I mean, there's such a great revival for music now with the love of the disco and the funk and all that. Is that the direction you're wanting to take things? What's the future then?
Well, glad you asked, because my initial thing was I heard a lot of new disco coming out, and I was like, well, what about old disco?
Yeah.
There's a difference. People may not hear music the same way as I do, but I hear a big difference in new disco and that old classic disco. And I just miss that sound, and I miss the types of voices that you would hear over it, and just lighthearted lyrics. Like, with Turning My Heart, it's just kind of like, it's not that deep. I guess it could be considered a sad song lyrically, but it still kind of feels lighthearted.
Yeah.
Like a lot of disco songs did back then. They had some pretty heavy subject matter, sadness and stuff. And, I Will Survive. Like, that song's pretty heavy, but you still feel lighthearted and empowered listening to it. I just kind of miss that, because I think the vocals and the music go hand in hand with music of back then.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to revive that. And then I'm a huge 80s music fan. Like 80s to mid 90s. I think that's actually my favorite time period for music. Yep. And I wanted to progress through the decades.
Right.
And just bring back those sounds and put the work in to make those sounds sound authentic. It's the nuances.
Yeah.
It's the nuances in the song that you cannot do with the computer. You can't do if you're being lazy in the studio, you know? And so for the future, you're going to see Back to the Future and beyond time travel through music. I may go back a little bit. You know, I may, you know, come out with a few house songs or something and then go back and you hear another funk song. Yep. I can't give you a direct roadmap, but it's all going to keep you on the edge of your seat and keep people dancing. I want people to feel like they can't sit still when they
I think that's the difference. Just music that makes you feel good, gets you up. You can't help but get up and move around, you know, that way. I think that's lacking in a lot of kind of modern music. The disco sound and the sounds of the 70s and the 80s, it was so rhythmic. It just made you want to get up and jump around. I think. Right.
And as far as my slower songs that I do, I want the harmonies and things to make people feel like still feel good. Yeah. Maybe not jump around, but just listening to the combination of the strings or the piano along with the harmonies I put in, or just floating over the track, just kind of that dreamy kind of feeling. I make music for myself, but it's also very, very much for the people. But I'm here to tell you, I'm not that artist that's going to put out a song that I don't like.
Yeah.
Just because that was popular. I'm not doing that.
Yep.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's quite an exciting time right now as well, isn't it? Because people are more open to those sounds again. It always seems to go full circle, but there's something about the past few years. There's just a real revival for the music, and there's more appreciation for maybe the effort that went into writing that music back then, as opposed to, like you say, maybe more laptop based or computer based stuff. People are appreciating the effort that was going on back then.
Like analog is sexy. We'll come out with t-shirts to say that soon. It is. I mean, I know that
that's a new song. That's a new song. That's a new song title.
A great song title. Yeah, Analog is Sexy. Also an album title.
I have so many ideas. I don't have to like play this back and get my notepad out. Yeah, you taking notes on all this, Rich? Yeah. So
this is how we have all our ideas. Like literally just us sitting talking on Zoom and we just write ideas down all the time.
Right. It's like the think lab, you know. Really? And I just feel like if people are going to do the retro thing, I don't know how I feel about it as a novelty. Now, if you're trying to pay homage to it and like a nod to that, then at least do your research.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't sing like that back then, or they wouldn't have, you know, it doesn't have to be. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to that part of it. And I think it comes through with my songs.
Yeah.
Like I could almost think if they were in 1978 in Studio 54, Paradise Garage, and you put on my song, people wouldn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for. But there's certain little nuances about the style of singing nowadays and the lack of harmonies and just it's various little nuances that I think that people aren't realizing that's what made the sound. It wasn't just the beat. I think people rely very, very heavily on beats right now.
Yeah.
And feel like they don't need to do the work with the voice and the arrangement, the vocal arrangement. Okay. So if they could kind of like just listen to some things, even some of those B-side obscure things, and it's like, okay. Now they get in the studio and try to recreate that while still putting their own unique spin on it.
Yep.
Then we'll start getting something that doesn't seem like such a novelty.
Yeah, and it can last a bit longer. I think the scene would last, again, this new resurgence would last, because it's going to be gone in an instant if people just stick to the same formulas. I think they have to take the influences and progress it in some sort of way, pay respects.
Like, I think the thing is, we need a lot more. We need a lot more original music again as well, because there's so many edits and stuff coming out now. Like, there's a lot of good edits, but there seems to be a lack of original music coming out.
True. And I always say, if you're not going to do it better, at the minimum, just as well. But if you're not going to do it better, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because it's insulting.
Yeah.
And just because you like that song doesn't mean you're supposed to sing it. That's like when you go shopping. Just because that dress look good on that mannequin doesn't mean it's for you. You know? So I think that nowadays, if I just had that one fortune cookie insert of advice for people, it would be do more listening than singing, rapping, or whatever else before you actually put this thing down as a recording. It's just like when you're in a conversation, more listening than talking comes to a better outcome. Same thing with music. Listen, put in more time listening. When you're recording, listen back every time you put something down. Not everybody is P.D. Pablo and can record eight songs in 45 minutes. It's like album's done. Can you do that? You can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
P.D. Pablo do that? None of us P.D. Pablo.
Something like that. He was like, it don't take nothing but 45 minutes to record a whole album. Something like that. I can't do that thing. You know, my family's from the South. But yeah, I was like, that's dope. But he can do that.
Oh,
you ain't there yet.
Yeah, I think it's quite a quick fix. People want the quick fix.
It takes decades to be able to do that. You don't just walk in and just because you just got a computer for your birthday, now all of a sudden you can do things like that. It don't work that way.
Takes me at least 3 hours to warm up my vocal cords before I'm good.
That's because he keeps drinking lemon tea. Too many lemons.
Too much coffee.
Yeah, don't do lemon tea. No.
And he eats too much as well. Toya, he's eating a lot too much over there, so he just wants to sleep. Too much lemon juice, lemonade, and lots of fatty foods.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The good stuff in life. You know, they keep trying to take it away. Like, just you gotta have some joys in life. I guess everything in moderation. But yeah, I love food. I love stuff. I like taking naps. You know, and
these are the greatest joys in life.
That is.
Yeah, like, aren't you supposed to live life? Isn't that what, like, the derivative of the word, live life? And, you know, I don't know.
Well, we always like to ask him some random questions as well, Latoya. So, what this is quite an easy one to start with. What would you say is your favourite meal? If you could only have one meal, like, for the rest of the time, what would that meal be?
Meal?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's difficult.
It's a tough one.
Okay.
John always can do it with the tough ones.
One meal. I think it would be this butter poached lobster roll in Martha's Vineyard. I don't even remember the name of the restaurant. I'll think of it probably as soon as we get off of here. I have a picture of it from when I had it, and I just look at it sometimes like, life is good. Life is good. I can still taste it. It was just, oh my gosh, that's the best thing I've ever eaten. Oh,
I think that'll be my last meal as well, John. If I could have one, I might have that. That sounds so good. I'm going to make that mine as well.
And it wasn't like one of those little like weak kind of lobster rolls where it's like the size of a hot dog bun with some little chopped up stuff. And no, it was all big chunks of lobster and butter, nothing else. On this like pretzel bun kind of roll. And it's just, let me see, I'm about to cry.
So ready to eat right now.
I want one. I want two.
I've got a funny question for you. You can probably both answer this one. What is your most used emoji? What is the emoji that you always go to? Texting, WhatsApp. What is your go-to emoji?
Oh my gosh.
One. If you could only use one emoji from now on.
From now on, it would probably be that little shit guy. I love that thing. I love that. They have like these pillows with it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. That's a good one.
I love that thing.
Yeah, that's a
I use it even when I don't need to.
John, that's a good one.
I'm a blue thumb man.
Like sometimes I just kind of like send it to people. They're like, "What was wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing. I just wanted to put it on the screen." Dude, I want the pillow, the little pillow that they came out with. Everything.
Just wanted to brighten up your day.
Yeah. Great. It's great. Who comes up with this?
What would you say? What's your kind of favorite Netflix show at the moment? What are you binging on at the moment on Netflix?
Oh my gosh. I just saw why am I drawing a blank on all these names? It's with Mario Casas, the Spanish actor.
Oh, okay.
The Innocents, Los Inocentes.
Okay.
Man, it's good because it's like one of my favorite actors. And then the writer of it, they just come together. I was on that thing like yelling at the screen, like my brothers and everybody, like they yell at the game when football is on, American football. Yeah. You know, I was just like, no, she didn't. And you know, it was so good. I think I'm going to watch it again.
What was it? A documentary or is it a movie or TV show?
It was a series. I think it was a series. Yeah, it was a series. It had like different episodes. It's probably like 8 episodes. I think that's the norm with Netflix. The Innocents.
Oh, cool. Mate, check that one out. The last thing I watched was Army of the Dead. I watched Army of the Dead at the weekend.
I didn't see that. It's like zombies or something.
Yeah, it's like zombies. We had pretty much
Man.
to do a casino heist in zombie-ridden Las Vegas. So it was based on a true story, apparently.
LaToya, he's a dark man.
I just got really confused.
It's always
But in
horror
Vegas,
films.
maybe so.
It's always horror films with John. He's a dark man. He loves the horror side of things.
Like a good zombie film.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of zombie films so much, but my favorite thing that will always bring me joy, and I know it will never change, are sitcoms.
Oh.
Yeah, yes.
I love sitcoms. Like,
Yeah.
I can never get enough of Three's Company. I Love Lucy. Family Matters. I'm just like, I'm obsessed with sitcoms. Golden Girls, just yeah.
It's a
Fresh
classic.
Prince as well. Fresh Prince was a sitcom, wasn't it?
Which one?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was a sitcom as well,
Prince,
wasn't it?
yeah, Fresh Prince. Yeah, I love sitcoms. And sometimes I'll leave the TV running when I'm sleeping and I'll laugh out loud in my sleep and wake me and my husband up. So it's like, yeah, they're good, but just gotta put the timer on.
A sitcom, it's just it's comfort watching, isn't it? A sitcom, you just sit down with a couple of friends on the TV and just watch it and relax.
Yeah.
Yes, I could watch them over and over and over. Like, I know what they're going to say, but it's still just as funny. Like,
Did you ever get that when you know the joke and then the audience laughs, you just kind of laugh and you think, well, I don't know, I'm even laughing at it. It's just, you just want to laugh along with the crowd, you know, that way.
Yeah, I still do that with Friends as well, yeah. Friends, you can just watch that over and over again.
Classic.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of has like at least one that they can just kind of go to. Like How I Met Your Mother, that was great. I mean, sitcoms are just a nice feel-good thing, and it's timeless. A lot like the music. How I was talking about the music. That's a lot to me. That's how sitcoms are. Like some of the newer ones, I'm not that impressed.
No, Frasier, I love a bit of Frasier. See Frasier, I've watched every episode for about 100 times over, but I could just watch it again.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. And I want my music to have that effect on people as well. Like 20 years from now, they're at a cookout and they're talking about, what's that in your bag? And they're all like old and decrepit. Out there.
I tell you what, LaToya, I will ask John that question once every year for the rest of our life, just to make that dream a reality. Just to
like a ceremony with candles and stuff.
I'm just going to start adding more and more random items into the bag over the years.
Until it jumps out and grabs you. Yeah.
I've got one last question, LaToya, before we wrap this up. This is a good one. Name one thing that you can't live without. What is one thing that you cannot live without?
Paper towels.
That's a good answer.
My whole house shuts down. Like, if there's no paper towels, everybody stops. Like, seriously. Like, it's
everyone must suffer.
Everybody and everything. If there's no paper towels, everything's over until we get
I was expecting something more valuable, but fair enough. That's a good answer.
I've got one more question for you as well, LaToya. This one's a little bit trickier. So if you were having a dinner party and you could have any 6 guests from any time ever, who would you choose to be your dinner guests? 6 guests.
See, you're putting me on the spot.
We probably should have given you a heads up for this question, to be honest. Musical, could be anyone, could be
anybody at all, from any time ever.
Okay.
Me and John we get an automatic invite. We're not one of the 6, but we're just there, just waiting, chilling, waiting for the guests to arrive.
They're DJing in the background.
Well, all right. I would probably I'm cooking, because that does make a difference if I'm cooking or they're cooking.
Yeah, you can cook. You can cook. Do you want to cook?
I'm cooking.
It's your dinner party. It's up to you if you cook.
All right.
An extra
You
seat.
can order takeaway. It's up to you.
An extra seat.
Okay. This is wow. That's really something to think about.
As long as you're serving that lobster,
Yeah, get the lobster. Definitely the lobster.
Yeah, like the lobster's a guest in itself. You know, like that whole plate. That's like, we need a whole seat just to put that. I would probably have. This is so hard. Oh my God.
That's a hard question.
But you know what? I would probably invite Patti LaBelle.
Yeah.
Because she'd be one of them, because she can cook, and I know she's raised right. She ain't coming to nobody's house about bringing anything, even if she is a guest. So she'd probably bring one of those pies or something like that. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I would bring RuPaul
Yeah.
Because that's RuPaul.
Yeah. And he would look stylish. He would look stylish at that dinner party.
Yeah, I would just like need to sit like probably on RuPaul's lap. I'd probably sit while I'm eating my lobster roll and my Patti LaBelle pie. And let's see.
It'd be a great dinner party.
Let's see. We don't want no picky eaters, so you know. I would probably invite Tamar Braxton because I think she is so hilarious just being herself. Like she would need to be there.
Yep.
And there's actually a blogger that I like called Funky Dineva.
Right.
Like I need to be in Dineva's presence. If you hear that out there, come on down. We'll go boating or something. Yeah, come on down here.
Go lobster catching. How many seats?
I think we're on. Well, you got two left. Two left.
Two
more.
left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. I would probably have
alive or dead as well.
Oh, alive or dead. Okay. Okay.
I'd like to mention that, John. The musical figures or anybody from the past as well.
Yeah, I got to choose well. Probably. And this is off the top of my head. I'd probably invite Tia Mowry because her kitchen is always clean, and she looks like when stuff's over, she'd be like, "Can I help with anything?" So yeah, she'd probably help me clean up afterwards and put the food away and all that stuff. One more.
Wow. Can I just thank you, Latoya, for putting so much effort into thinking this through. Most guests just kind of grab a few names and that's it, but you're giving this some real thought.
Oh, am I doing too much?
No, I'm liking
it.
I'm saying thank you for giving it so much effort because most of the guests don't really bother. I like how much effort you're giving this.
And then
I feel like you're actually planning this dinner party now.
I'm looking forward to this dinner party.
Putting places out at the table and all that.
Oh gosh, yeah. So like, all right. Let me focus. Like the last one has to be good. I would probably invite like Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
And it's nothing musical at all.
Yeah.
She just seems so like, if somebody's acting up, like say RuPaul tries to like sneak some lobster off my roll, and then Tamar is like, why they do that? Billie Holiday would get everybody together. Everybody. She would kick everybody out of my house if they started acting up. With a cigarette in her hand, even though I don't want smoking in my house. It's just I let her hold it just for effect, for dramatic effect. Like, I need to get up out of here, all right? And then just like lay out on the couch all cool. Yeah, that'd be dope, man. When is this party?
That is one hell of a dinner party. I want to go to this.
What I find interesting there is that lobster's so good that you wouldn't share it with RuPaul.
I love you. I love you. I love everything about you, but no, that's not.
No, thanks so much, Latoya. Thanks for coming on, taking time to have a chat and listening to our random nonsense. It's been a pleasure learning more about your music, more about your story, and hopefully the viewers will go and check more of your music out.
Thank you so much. I am completely honored that you wanted to speak with me, interview me, find out more about me, and just
well, definitely
supporting,
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. It's been good chatting to you and just getting to know you a little bit and having a bit of fun with you as well.
Thanks. And house music coming soon. Survey says house music. So we've got a single coming out very shortly. I'm talking like week, 2 weeks. First house song I've done in ages. Brilliant. And hope you like it.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Looking forward to it. That's a teaser to end on right there, I think, isn't it?
Where can people go to see about your music and what you're up to? Is it do you have your Facebook page and all that stuff?
Yes. I am on Facebook. I'm Groove LaMay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And GROVE. Instagram and YouTube, it is so LaMay, _LaMay.
Right.
And trying to remember all these. And you can find me on Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At LaMay Music. So I hope I got all those right. I'm sure we'll be able to put something. There's a lot of different things.
We'll add all the links in.
Click down there. It's probably easier.
Oh yeah, like when the YouTubers like, subscribe. Come on, Vogue. Yeah. So that's that.
Brilliant. No, thanks a lot, Latoya. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you enjoy your day out there in the Caribbean. We are so jealous.
Oh, thanks.
It's a hard life.
No.
Brilliant. No, you take care. We'll speak to you soon, all right?
All right. Ciao.
Bye.